Okay, so Q1 review. What have we done in the past 3 months? Dale joined, so welcome, Dale, again. Yeah, as I already mentioned in monthly review, been great having you join. We also organized the video editing process some more and onboarded a video editor to edit our YouTube videos, meeting recordings. We published 24 shorts and 18 long videos on YouTube all throughout the quarter. We had a total of 197 PRs merged into tbp.monty. Of those, 44 from external contributors, which is nice to see. And yeah, everyone on the team made PRs to the repository, but just fit the top 6. So Tristan and Scott with lots of work on all the refactoring and integration project. Some nice work from Timothy, the external contributor, Jeremy, Rami, Agent Rev, and yeah, again, everyone else as well. So, and then even that was only to tbp.monty. We also have various other repositories, including, for example, the 2D sensor module, which Jose has been working on a lot. We have the repository on ultrasound perception, which Niels has been working on a lot the past quarter. The Hydra prototype, config prototype, tbp plot that Rami continues to improve, and then internal repositories on our AWS infrastructure and video processing tools. Then, yeah, major progress on the platform roadmap, including completing 2 big chunks, opaque sensor module IDs, and then this huge chunk of decoupling motors from environment interface. Basically, this was the kind of class structure before, and we had this kind of ugly gray arrow here, which we wanted to get rid of for years, and now it's gone, and now it looks beautiful, and it's kind of the necessary step towards the thing we want to accomplish this over the next months and year.
What a great summary of a year's worth of work. We removed that arrow.
Yeah. This is what you did. But yeah, I mean, it's really important because eventually we want to move to a point where the platform is basically just this chunk here, Monty, and everything that's connected to it. And then we separate out the simulator. Not everything will even need a simulator. We might have actual robots running with Monty. And then we separate out the experiment framing. That can be a kind of separate wrapper. Not everything will be an experiment in the future. And in order to be able to separate this platform and environment part, this gray arrow needs to go. So now it's gone, and now we can move on. So yeah, besides that separation, there's also been a lot of other progress on the implementation project for model-free saccades and policy switching, which again, for example, switching between policies is something that we generally want and need in the future, not just necessary for this implementation project. So again, there are a lot of other nice changes coming out of this project. We also had our London retreat, which was really fun, meet each other in person again, some good food, and yeah, some fun optical illusion museum and other activities. The large configuration improvements. There were already some improvements before the retreat meetup, but then this big project during that week in London and integrated into Monty afterwards. The working prototype of MuJoCo. Theoretical progress both during that week, but also before. We also had a full focus week, a remote focus week in February, and various other research meetings. The burst sampling code is now integrated into tbp.monty, and Monty can now fully make use of that. Our benchmarks are improved both on accuracy, rotation error, and runtime. So if anyone's curious, there's a nice video of Rami walking through that. Jose completed the 2D sensor module research prototype. So that's moving into the integration project stage now. The saliency experiments were concluded. with kind of final results there. We've been debugging the compositional object modeling setup. Rami has created some really nice interactive visualizations of it and looked into what are the current issues and started addressing some of them, such as combining the hypothesis channels. And we finalized the ultrasound repository and have a list of issues that people can contribute to now, as well as a nice presentation about it. Reworked the Heterarchy paper, interacted on Discourse, and developed a community strategy for 2026, as well, which includes hiring a developer advocate, which, yeah, the role description is on our website. So yeah, nice first quarter of the year. So yeah, what do we plan to do in the next 3 months? So just to give a bit of kind of a reference frame again. So here's our usual kind of progress. We have theory that turns into prototypes, that turns into Monty features, that can turn into demos, that can then turn into real-world applications. All of these four are affected by the platform quality of Monty, which we're also continually trying to improve. And then there's also the community, which we're trying to foster and grow and get interested in this project. And so we have kind of these four main goals. One is to figure out open theoretical questions. Two is to add capabilities to Monty that unlock more interesting applications. Three is to make it easier to build applications using Monty. And four, to get people interested in building applications with Monty. And so I presented that a couple of months ago, beginning of the year. For this year, on the theory side, the focus is on causal interactions. So how can we output actions to achieve goals? How does this work in the neocortex? How could we translate that into Monty? It's kind of the last huge missing piece before, like, most robotics applications, for example, are possible with Monty. We actually have to change the state of the world. And on the prototyping side, after modeling compositional objects, we're going to move on to object behaviors, translate the theory into code. And then in Monty features, we're currently working on compositional models. Here I already mentioned on the platform side, we have several things we're working on. One of the big ones is to separate platform, experiment, and environment. And then on the community side, continued publications, interactions, collaborations, making it easier to onboard, making the learning curve less steep. And on the demo side, we're looking into having a solutions incubator to encourage people to explore what's possible with Monty. So that was a long preamble to the Q2 goals. I kind of split it up by these four items this time to have that structure. So on the theory side, we want to answer open theoretical questions. And so in the next 3 months, we want to make theoretical progress on how to output actions to achieve goals. And then also assess the scope and describe the new theory that we developed over the past months and how it would be integrated into Monty. So ideas like communicating displacements, sharing locations without voting, dealing with distortions, affordances, attention, thinking through, okay, these are very interesting ideas. How would we implement that in Monty? What would be necessary changes to Monty to test these ideas? Then on the research side, adding new Monty capabilities. Again, this quarter, the focus is on modeling compositional objects. So one part is that the current prototypes, which are model-free policy from Scott, burst sampling from Rami, 2D sensor module from Hoj, hypothesis channel combination that Rami's working on, as well as the sticker data set Scott put together, that they're all integrated. Some of them already are integrated, and then tested together. And so we get an idea, okay, after all this work we've been doing over the past months and year, how well does it all work together? What's still missing? Two things that we already know that are still missing are top-down connections. So one of the goals for the next 3 months is to prototype top-down connections and integrate them into Monty. And the second one, which is a smaller one, that parent-to-child orientation is calculated and stored in the models. And then lastly, we will have to do some debugging and fixes to get the compositional modeling working well, kind of what Rami is currently looking into. Then on the platform side, we continually want to make Monty easier to use, improve, and contribute to. And so there, we want to move away from Python 3.9. That requires the MuJoCo integration, habitat and conda removal, and Python upgrade. And then also want to make coordinate system transforms easier to use, which is something Dale is looking into right now. And then lastly, on the community side, this one is a bit more lightweight this quarter because we're hiring for the developer advocate right now. So one thing we do want to do this quarter, though, is to make sure the future work pages are updated and that there are some well-scoped beginner tasks added to it, as well as making sure our documentation is up to date and expanded on some topics.